Good morning, Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. Today, this is going to be a collective support reading. Okay, let's drop in. Okay, for the collective, I'm reading for today. There is something you're not seeing clearly. There's a truth that you're not seeing clearly, or a truth that you're having trouble accessing because of a faulty perception. Okay. And for some of you, okay, I have multiple narratives flowing in. Okay, there's a group of you that are bringing justice to a situation. There is something balancing out, and there's no longer a call to fix something. There has been a new perspective reached, which has allowed some of you to put down the burdens. You are no longer stuck hemming and hawing. You're no longer stuck between worlds. You have access to... Hold on. It's really interesting that the message just stopped. It's like I walked into a brick wall energetically. That is really interesting. All right, let's pivot. Hold on. Let's see where it takes us. Okay. Okay. Some of you are being asked to find peace in the mystery. We have in the unconscious, we have this go with the flow card. Again, it's in the shadow position. So there's something that you need to let go of. For a group of you here, you're trying to control something a little too aggressively. There's something here that this collective is being called to find this deep, beautiful contentment, this inner satisfaction as you dive deeper into the mystery. And what's interesting about the mystery is that it's usually not something that you have to go looking for. It is something that you can sit on your throne and it will flow around you. I'm really also drawn to just these mermaid cards. Just the look at all the movement in these images. Okay, if this is difficult for you, if it's very difficult for you to loosen the reins on a situation or on your thought process, you need to take even more time out to allow this truth to arrive at your door. You are completely supported in this journey. Spirit has your back. The divine is here to support you. But again, remember, slow and steady wins the race, right? We're not trying to rush towards this thing that we call a destination. The destination is actually the journey of becoming. Ground in a profound amount of grace. Bring a gentle touch to the way you parent these parts of self that are showing up. You are not doing this work alone. It is time to collaborate. It is time to allow others to see your soft underbelly. I'm drawn to that brown bear spirit, and I just picture like somebody petting a bear, which is a very interesting thing because not many people can pet a bear. But the few people that have worked with trained bears, it looks comical, right? The bear is so massive and the person's so small, and they're tickling their belly like it's like a little cat or dog or something. It's just such an interesting juxtaposition. And so, funny message here, that allow the divine to tickle your belly. Surrender to that deep, nourishing contentment of having your belly scratched. In parenting these parts of self, you will access this abundant space around you. You will create sacred, safe space for a rebirth to happen. These messages are very choppy today. I'm not seeing I'm not feeling a chronological flow. So yeah, forgive how they're coming out, but it is what it is. I'm really drawn to the snake on this woman's arm. This is the Oracle card, and also this owl on top of this woman. It looks like the Lady of Justice, right? It's the To Be Fair card. She's holding scales in her. What is on? Sorry, hold on. I'm looking. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, on the scale that this woman is holding, on one side it looks like there's an egg, and on the other side, I had to get really close because I couldn't figure out what that was. It's a fortune cookie. That's really interesting because think about a fortune cookie. It's a fortune cookie, so you know there's a fortune in there. So if you would like that fortune, you have to intentionally and consciously make a decision to grab the cookie, to crack it open, and to pull out the message. Whereas with an egg, sure, you can crack it, but you don't know what's on the inside. Cracking that egg might break or might kill whatever's in there. An egg takes patience, right? It takes, what is it called? Incubation time. So it's interesting juxtaposition there around going after a message versus surrendering and waiting until something has matured enough to able to birth itself. Yeah, and then under this oracle message, it says wait for important information. And then didn't we have a patience card somewhere? I swear to God, I saw a patience card. I can't find it, but anyway, moving on. Yeah, wait for important information. Take note of any intuitive messages that arrive while you're waiting. This is the sacred part about sitting on your throne and leaning back and allowing the throne to support you. In what you might describe as waiting, others would describe as surrendering. And in that profound surrender, so much can arrive. But often we don't let enough time pass for a message to birth itself, to grow from the seeds that we planted. Yes, many messages here about enjoying this contentment, this time of peace. It's like you've battled often, you went deep, long, and hard, and now it's time to just sit back and enjoy your accomplishments. Allow your inner light to illuminate all of your success and happiness. Enjoy, we have so many celebration messages here. We have another one that says enjoy growth and reap the rewards. A lot of earth cards here. Then we have ground yourself. It says being distracted, unfocused, tired, irritated, and impatient are all signs that you are ungrounded. Now is the time to become centered and allow spirit to help you ground yourself and reconnect with the divine source. Isn't it interesting that we're talking, we've mentioned several times about this idea of seeds, germination, growth, and we've all this beautiful greenery here. And then here in this vulnerability card, we have this one single leaf. And if you look at these twigs over here, they're barren. There's no green, there's no vegetation, there's no growth. And in the core heart, we have this green leaf. Vulnerability, it says this is confirmation that you're seeking to tread into the unknown, unfamiliar territory where decisions are based more on intuition than rationality. Do not let fear hold you back or allow a misguided sense that feeling vulnerable is somehow a negative condition. Oof, okay. I have another message coming through here around those of you have let me not point the finger. Let's just honor what's coming through. Blocking vulnerability can block happiness, period. Let's just put that out there. Why? Why does that happen? Well, vulnerability holds truth. If we are not putting our truth on the altar to discern what's actually present, to discern what our intuition is actually telling us, then we are not always able to access aligned steps toward our wants, needs, desires, our truth, our happiness, our joy, our bliss, our ecstasy. If we continue to avoid vulnerability and continue to push our truth down into the shadows, then we also, what also is attached to that is our awareness around what will make us happy, around resonance. It's like we're pushing half of the data and information away, so we have less to go on. And so when we do make these decisions about our happiness, sometimes it feels like a shot in the dark, that we don't really have all the information, but we're guessing at it. We also have this this card all the way to the right in the primary position. It's a change in the wind, but it's in the reverse. So again, there's something about avoiding vulnerability is keeping you stuck. Let me just say it like that. In the unconscious, we have this time to let go card. What are you holding on to that is time to release? It's interesting that we started the message. One of the first messages I said was that some of you are having trouble identifying your truth or identifying a perception, a false perception that is blocking your truth. In the unconscious, we have this deep knowing card. So there is something jamming up our intuition. We already talked about this. And then we also have perseverance in the unconscious. It's really easy to plow forward aggressively without making sure we are picking up the pieces along the way. And it's also easy to just give up. So there has to, again, this theme of balance, this theme of balancing the scales continues to come up. Honor your strength, honor your inner fortitude, honor your spiritual endurance. You did not come this far to only come this far. You have everything you need within you to persevere. And then, yes, in the unconscious, we have trust in the higher forces. Okay, let me just say this. I got to be a little direct here. For many months, I think I've only been on YouTube for like 4 months. It feels much longer, which is wild, but almost every single reading, it doesn't matter what reading I'm doing, there is something in the unconscious about distrust in the divine. There's a group of you that even though you read all the things, you read all the books, you listen to all the videos, you learn all the things, you take all the workshops and retreats, and you do all of this wonderful self-improvement, there are some of you that are busting your asses doing all of this work, but you don't actually believe that you're worthy of this transformation. You don't actually fully believe that this is working, or this exponential growth is your birthright. There's something in that keep holding you back. So I'm just kind of naming it to call those of you out that need to hear that. It's like, wait, what's that phrase? It's like you can't practice magic while not believing in it. It's that kind of energy. It's like you can't possibly because then what is that? What happens when you're practicing magic and you don't believe in it? What is that? It's like you're a little kid playing make-believe. And actually, that would actually be better, because when kids play make-believe, it's so innocent and precious that actually it holds usually much more power, because the ego's not intervening and criticizing and judging and thinking about all the ways that this is not going to work out. They're just playing and make-believe because they love it, because it feels good, because it's where the mystery took them that day. So there's something in this to learn or to receive and allow your inner precious spirit to kind of take you into this mystery while grounded in a higher truth, while grounding in higher desires. And yeah, let's just continue on this narrative. If that's something that's showing up for you, then that's your work. If you have what's the phrase? What is it called when, like, a wayfair person, or a wayfeather? What's that phrase? I don't know what it is, but it's like you can't practice magic while scoffing your while turning up your nose at it. There's something here about calling you to more pristine truth. This is such a weird reading. It feels incredibly choppy. Let's get a question card. It just feels so bizarre. It feels really like, if I'm being honest, it feels like 6 different readings in one, and that's why it doesn't feel very fluid. It feels a little sticky. Let's see. Okay, Spirit, anything else for the collective? What does the collective need to know about this? About identifying truth, about stepping deeper into authenticity, about accessing justice in their lives and implementing... oh, hold on. Okay, we have Starseed, what lights you up? We have play. Again, this card keeps coming up. Have fun, celebrate, don't be too serious. So again, this little kind of like precious inner child energy continues to come up. Let's see what else we got. We have dance with life. Do something to change your energy. Anything else? I laugh. I wanted to pull a question card and not one question came out. And then we have yes, just say yes. What's in the unconscious? Inner temple devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. You know, the way this reading is flowing through me and out of me, and the way it just sounds so choppy and we're skipping around topic to topic, what's really interesting is that this does feel scattered. This does feel as if there is no grounded anchor point. We need an anchor on this spiritual path because it takes us so aggressively in infinite directions. We need that thing that is our anchor point. It's going to look different for all of you. Let's get one of these affirmation cards. Okay, what does the collective need to know? What does the collective need to know for the highest and best good of self and the planet? Okay, we have the universe is my biggest fan. We have I can overcome any obstacle. I am a source of creativity. Setbacks propel me forward, and I practice forgiveness. I'm going to read these 2 cards. So I practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is freeing. By forgiving yourself and others, you allow yourself to move forward with confidence and peace. Open up to all the love and joy you deserve by letting go of what no longer serves you. Aho. And then we have, I am a source of creativity. Inspiring others is effortless when you tap into your own gifts. You possess an unlimited network of creative energy and the ability to create new ideas and solutions. Allow those thoughts that enter your mind to flow freely, becoming tangible objects or goals. So maybe something else that needs to balance out is this 5D, 3D thing. You know, let's look at this from 2 angles. First angle is that some of you are spending too much time in the 5D, in the realm of spirit, and not enough time anchoring the wisdom from the realm of spirit in the realm of matter. That's the first narrative. The second narrative is that... now I'm forgetting what it was. Hold on. Oh, the second narrative is that you have all of this delicious wisdom, but there's something blocking the creative side of it. There's something blocking the, like the rebirth. We have so many cards of rebirth here and creativity and overcoming obstacles. So what is blocking your creativity? That's the message that's coming through. Is it lack of forgiveness? Is it grief? Is it shame? Is it fear? Name it so you could look at it and then put it on your altar. You don't even have to do anything else. If you can properly identify what the block is, that is a profound amount of work in and of itself. So pat yourself on the back if you actually can identify what the thing is. Literally write it on a sticky note or a piece of paper, put it on your altar. I'm assuming you all have one. If not, go make one. Put it on your altar and you don't have to do anything else with it. Just watch it. Sit on your throne energetically or physically if you have a throne and wait for Source to gift you with an awareness about this block. We don't always have to run into the burning building. Sometimes it's okay to sit outside the burning building and wait for the firemen to come, or the fire brigade, or whatever you call it. Okay. I can't believe, I thought this was definitely going to be a half-hour reading. We've only hit the 20-minute mark and I'm like exhausted. I can feel all of the energy pooling behind my third eye. It's like a lot of pressure. So honor if you're feeling, if some of you are under incredible amounts of pressure, just honor that. Just honor that and take care of yourself. Don't try to take on more on your plate than you have energy to deal with. All right, what else for the collective? I am wiped out, guys. This reading is really intense. All right, we have magnetism sideways. I'm just going to sit that here. Yeah, there's just this idea of balance that continues to come out. We have stretch in the reverse. We have fortitude in the reverse. And we also have absence. And then we have time in the unconscious. Wow, beautiful cards. Okay, let me feel this. When we turn away from our truth, from our deepest core desires, part of the light of our life force gets dimmed. And when it gets dimmed, we become limited beings. Even though we have infinite potential, when our light is so low, we have less energy, we have less life force and energetic currency to invest in different things. Things being relationships, creative projects, our health and wellness. Literally, when we spend more energy than we have to give, it starts to pull from first our relationships, then our creativity, and the last stop on the train is from our cellular tissue. This is not a small thing. This is what contributes to dis-ease in the body, right? Which brings about what? Disease, different issues. I'm not a medical doctor, but I have studied energy anatomy, and these are thoughts and ideas from the body of energy anatomy. When we are not honoring the energy that we do not have enough endurance. We do not have enough fortitude to stretch the self. And it is in times when the self is stretched that we access divine wisdom, that we actually can step into this exponential human potential. It's at the edges of self, right? It's like we all know what our edges are when we're experiencing it. We might not know what our edges are. You know, you might go your whole life thinking, oh yeah, I could definitely talk to a room full of 100 people, no problem. And then one day you're in a room full of 100 people and you can't open your mouth because it's terrifying or it's overwhelming or your mind goes blank and you don't know what to say or a million other things. That's just a random example. But we do not know what our edges are until we kind of attempt to stretch beyond our regular experience. And the absence of this stretching, the absence of adversity, the absence of new experiences prevent us from accessing our highest potential. It reminds me, I don't know if you guys have seen that video of that rabbi telling this story about a lobster casting off its shell. I don't know what the context was, but basically he's saying, What happens with lobsters is that when they're born, they get a shell that's the size of what they're meant to be in that stage of life. And eventually, as the lobster becomes an adult size, they are growing on the inside, but their shell is still the same size from maybe when they were a teenage lobster. And slowly but surely, that growth becomes so unbearably painful and uncomfortable that they are forced to cast off their shell. And so they find a safe space because they know that when they cast off their shell, there is nothing protecting them from their soft underbelly. They are vulnerable to the outside world. What the point the rabbi was making also was that in our modern world, when we become uncomfortable, we often try to medicate that feeling in some way. Maybe if you're depressed or if you're anxious or something, instead of looking at the core root, maybe some people would get medication or would take on other unhealthy, I'm not saying all medication is unhealthy. I'm not saying that, but there's all these different, maybe instead of getting help, someone just starts binging Netflix or something. And that is also a numbing effect. And if we continue to numb the feeling of pain, we never feel that impetus for growth. That's why sometimes a little bit of pain, and I hate to use the word pain, but it is what it is. Sometimes a little bit of discomfort is the impetus to get us to grow, is the thing that gets us to break out of our shell, to access a truth that is beyond self. Okay, cool. Let's see what else. What else should we get? Let's get a twin flame card. All right, what else does the collective need to know for the highest and best good of self and the planet? Anything else? We have theme. Oh, okay. Didn't even have to say more. All right, we have Voyager's Journey, Past Life Healing. We have Trust, Ask, Listen, and Allow. We have Twin Flame Facilitator, Expansive Growth. Remember your identity, you can do it. The Electric Creative Expression. And Open Your Heart, Set Loving Boundaries. Okay, let me just feel into, again, in the unconscious, we have another grounded card. So again, take a moment. What are your grounding tools? If you don't know what they are, it's time you make a list so that you can reference what works for you. Is it being barefoot on Mother Gaia? Is it taking an Epsom salt bath or just soaking your feet in Epsom salt? Is it doing a recorded meditation or a guided meditation? Maybe some breath work, maybe some visualizations. What is your favorite flavor of grounding? Write it down so that when you actually need to ground, you don't have to do the heavy mental work. You could just read it and be like, oh yes, these things work for me, and then you can implement them. Okay, for this collective, okay, this is a split message. There's some of you that have just completed a hero's journey and you're returning home to self or home to family, relationship, community, whatever. And there's another group of you that are just beginning or in the middle of your hero's journey, that you're going through the challenging part, right? Oftentimes in folklore and indigenous, myths and storytelling, there's this idea of usually an adolescent, usually a male adolescent who, in order to step into eldership or adulthood, they have to make their way in the world. So maybe they get a little bit of food, they have a weapon, and the clothes on their back, and they leave the village to go out into the world to, accomplish some task. Maybe spend 1 week in the woods by themselves, or maybe there's a specific pilgrimage they have to make. And they go through many trials and tribulations that stretches themselves enough where they have to step up or step out, right? They are put in these crazy situations to see what they're made of, and they will either sink or swim. And then when they accomplish these tasks, they can finally come back to the village as a changed person, right? They go from boyhood to manhood, and now they are recognized by the tribe as an adult. There's something here about that. So again, What is your version of this narrative? What is your hero's journey? For me, my hero's journey was in quitting the life that was no longer supporting me and finding my way in the world. I quit my job of 15 years. I sold my house. I moved. I got rid of all my belongings. Not all, let's be transparent. I kept a lot of crap. But I did this and it was scary, and it's still scary. I still don't know what it's going to look like, but there's a bit more trust and faith in the mystery. I'm able to surrender and access joy, love, abundance, groundedness, contentment in the core of this flavor of chaos. Okay, let's get an inner child card. Anything else for this collective? Anything else for this collective? Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? We have, it is never truly the end. Beloved, in this, everything will be okay. We also have it, run wild, let your inner child I can't even talk today, excuse me. Let your inner wild child run forth. We have a second card of saying yes. Now is the time to be open to receive. And you are enough. You do not have to give more. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. It feels complete. This was just a wild ride. I am quite exhausted. If you feel exhausted, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you ground and hydrate and purify the body in whatever way that feels good for you. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. I hope this was supportive and sending you all a lot of love. I will see you in the next one.